Has Arsenal season been a failure? Yes or no? I'm going to unpack that really quickly, as well as discussing the Newcastle result, as well as discussing other events in the football world, specifically England, Premier League, and the FA Cup in this episode. So let's just get started. Let's start with Arsenal versus Newcastle. Arsenal won, Newcastle nil. In my opinion, game of two halves. Newcastle were all over us like a rash the first 15, 20 minutes. And you'd say that we were lucky to not concede a goal. Right? We were poor. Partey sloppy in possession. We were just poor. Very, very poor. And we were bad. And I'd love to say that's just like a one-off or whatnot, with injury or no injury. We've played like that a couple times this season, right? Where you just can tell that the team's not at the races. And Raya keeps us in the game, right? And I saw the stat that I think it's between Raya and Matt Sells for top two, I think most clean sheets in the league. I think Sells is ahead of Raya by like one clean sheet. But I think that's fair. I would probably say they've been the first and second best keepers in the league. I genuinely think so. That's just my opinion, right? I think Sells has been the number one keeper in the league, and Raya is up there, man. I mean, he makes a couple mistakes from his distribution and loose passing from time to time, risk of his game, but he more than makes up for it in the quality saves he does. So it's a game of two halves. Obviously, Deckers with a smashing finish as usual. I saw the stat doing rounds that he scored, he scored more goals for Arsenal in half the amount of games than he did for West Ham. Look, I mean, yes, he's been used in a different role, a role that actually gets the best out of his qualities, which is good. So we can't hide that. But also at the same time, Arsenal are a much more offensive team than West Ham. Let's be honest. You're going to score more goals in a team like Arsenal than you are at West Ham. And that's no shade to West Ham. I mean, look at the managers they've had. Lopetegui, David Moyes, and now Graham Potter. You know what's going to happen. So, but kudos to Deckers. He's done a great job. And he's definitely been Arsenal's player of the season. Don't think anyone can begrudge him. Probably player of the season would be between him and Gabriel and Miles Lewis-Skelly. Really. Those would be the top ones, top candidates. But yeah. But let's talk about Calafiori though. Calafiori came on. You didn't hear Pip from Newcastle. Now, of course, Kivior also needs his props. Kivior playing at right centre back, right? Saliba goes off. You're probably panicking, but Kivior. The thing is, I've always known Kivior's a good player, but my frustration is that he doesn't show it enough. And people always used to give the excuse, yeah, he just needs a run of games and blah, 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 blah. But like, no. Like, sorry, that doesn't cut the mustard. You can't have a run of games when the centre-back pairing you're up against is Saliba and Gabriel, probably the best centre-back pairing in Europe. If you want to disrupt that, you're going to need to be heading the game anytime you play. And truth be told, I never really saw that from Kivior, but he is definitely, his stocks have gone up in my opinion. He stepped up in this period, and he's been good for Arsenal. He's been one of the shining lights in an otherwise very, very poor end to the season. Been really, really good. And I was impressed with him and Calafiori. And it's interesting for me, seeing Calafiori there as centre-back. I said it a while ago. I said it probably late last year, back when him and Martin were forming a decent bond when he was playing left-back. But Calafiori, in my opinion, his long-term future lays at centre-back. Man, Saliba, if we tie him down to long-term contract, as much as I love Gabriel the Monster, can you imagine a centre-back pairing of Saliba and Calafiori? Pure, fluid, aggressive, every single thing you need. Like, for me, I was impressed with his performance. He kept Newcastle quiet. I loved his aggression in the tackle. And obviously his quality on the ball and his dribbling ability as well, which is very, very underrated. So, actually, it's not underrated. It's well known. He's a good dribbler of the ball. So I'm looking forward to seeing him next season. More of him. And can we talk about Nicolas Jova, please? Yeah, people keep talking about Arsenal set pieces, right? But why is no one talking about how bad, maybe it's bad harsh, but how we're the opposite of whatever we are offensively with set pieces, defensively with set pieces. Like, we've conceded 12 goals from set pieces this season. We're tied with Spurs for most goals conceded with set pieces in the league this season. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Like, you can't be painting murals of this guy when every time we take a set piece, we look shaky. Like, Newcastle, every time they had a set piece, there was panic. There was panic there because you're thinking, bruh, like, they should have scored from one, and then Raya kind of spills one at the end. I don't know what's going on there, but the cameras pan to this guy. They need to start panning to him when we're defending set pieces, right? I'm not trying to be a hater, I'm just saying. But overall, I'm happy with the win. I'm just happy. I love beating Newcastle. I can't stand Newcastle. I put out a TikTok yesterday, Kevin Keegan voice. I will love it. I will absolutely love it if we beat them. I love it. I love it when we beat Newcastle. Yes, people may say, oh yeah, they're rent-free in your heads, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I am still a bit salty. I'm not going to lie. I am salty. I'm salty about this team that every time it comes to us, they just raise their game. They've raised their game. Now, yes, they beat Chelsea. Yes, they beat United, but those aren't the games that I'm looking at. I'm looking at City, Liverpool, all of these games. But anywho, happy to beat Newcastle. It's a shame that we can't. I'm happy that we dent their Champions League charge, but, and I'll talk about it later, most likely they're probably going to get it. Let's call a spade a spade. They're probably going to get it. They're probably going to get top 5. But overall, that's the Newcastle game. But the main question is Arsenal's season a failure because we finished second? Well, let's look at the reasons that it isn't and the reasons that it is. So, reasons that you wouldn't really say it's a failure, number one, is injuries. I don't like to do this. I genuinely don't like to do this. I don't like to use injuries as an excuse and yada, 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 yada. I don't like doing that at all, right? Your squad is your squad. Everyone has injuries. Every team has had to suffer with big players being missing. We got our rubber to green last year when Saka was available for tons of games, Odegaard available for tons of games, Gabriel and Saliba available for tons of games, and we didn't take advantage. That's all true. But that being said, last season, when Liverpool, after they won the League Cup, and then their slide started to happen, people kept saying they had injuries. Liverpool had 21 injuries last year, and they slided all the way down to 3rd, right? And crashed out the Champions League. We had 27 injuries this season. We had the most injuries, I believe, out of the top 10 teams by far. 21 injuries. And to be fair, Arteta made the comment about, look, and to be fair, I'm not gonna lie, I agree with him. Like, yes, as much as squad planning, which I'll get to, right? Squad planning, transfers, player management, rotation, all of these things factor in. Plus, everyone is dealing with injuries. But at the same time, any team is going to struggle when multiple key players are injured simultaneously. Like, we're only at the end of the season, and this period is the first time since, you'd say, the Aston Villa game. The Aston Villa game away, where I've actually seen Ben White, Odegaard, and Saka playing in the same team. It's crazy. That's crazy to me. Like, that for me is absolutely mad, right? And what else was I going to say? Yeah, and it's tough. It's been tough for us, right? Like, we've had a lot of injuries, and that's contributed to a lack of rotation. So that's one. Champions League semis. That's progression. I spoke about last week. Last season was our first time back in the Champions League since what? Since the 2016-2017 season, right? So we had a 7-year wait to get back into the Champions League reached the quarters the first time, got knocked out by Bayern, fairs. And then the season after, we reached the semis, smashing Real Madrid, the current champions, without Gabriel, with a barely fit Saka. Right? I mean, like a lot of credit needs to go to the team for these results, right? Breakout season for the youngsters as well. Miles Lewis-Skelly, and to a lesser extent, Ethan Nwaneri as well. He had these moments. And even the mere fact that all of us are unanimously disappointed with second, it shows you the high standards we've set for ourselves as a club again, that the team is legit, mad competitive. This is a far cry to the team that we had even back in 21-22 season, where we were fighting the Spurs for fourth. So these are reasons you would say it's not been a failure, but let's look at the reasons you can say it has been. Yes, in as much as we've had injuries, that's also down to squad planning. That's also down to rotation. That's also down to the manager's use of players. It doesn't take a genius to tell you that the season we had injury-wise, this has been coming for seasons after seasons now. We were saying, I was screaming from 21-22 season, end of that season, Saka needs competition. He needs competition. He needs a right winger that we can play, that's going to make sure that he can get games to rest and whatnot, and even push him. And I said it even all the way of 21-22 season, before the surprise league title charge, that we're too reliant on Martinelli and Saka, that we need wingers. We need people to push them. And did Arteta listen? No, he didn't. Next season, we nearly won the league. Rinsed them. Season after, Martinelli has tons of injuries. The 23-24 season, he had he had a very injury hit campaign. Fortunately, Saka didn't get injured. You're thinking, okay, cool, bro, you're gonna learn. Summer we don't buy a winger. Well, actually, the only winger we get is Sterling on loan, which we all know was a garbage signing. Just classic PR move. And what can you really even say PR? Like, ever since that video, I got to prove people wrong. We've seen nothing. So that was pathetic. So in as much as we can see injuries, I'm looking at what's the root cause of these injuries. The root cause is a manager that's not rotated the players historically over the season. The root cause is a manager that's been unwilling to bring players that are going to push these guys. As much as people want to say the board, bro, Arteta, like, the board has backed Arteta. Now, and I'll get to the transfer stuff, but the board has backed Arteta. He wanted Calafiori, we got him. He wanted Marino, we got him. We got these guys. He wanted Šeško, we went for Šeško. He rejected us. Why did he reject us? Because we could not guarantee him that he'd be a starter ahead of Havertz, who none of us wanted, but Arteta wanted. So he got him. And Havertz is not. So Arteta's been backed. Now, could he be backed some more? Yeah, he could be. Which I hope he's going to get back this season by your attackers, so you can prove to us that, look, bro, you can coach an attack, which is clear he can. We scored 91 goals last season. We scored a lot less this season, but it is what it is, isn't it? Right? So I'm looking at the injuries. It's a systemic issue. It's a systemic issue, right? This was bound to happen. Another reason why you'd say it's a failure I'm sorry, we've lost at home in big games this season, in the Cups. PSG at home, Newcastle at home, United at home. We didn't lose that one, but we got knocked out on pens. Hugely disappointing. We prop up the team, the fans get gassed, you get the hope, and then we churn out garbage. Churn out absolute garbage. That United game, we were poor for the first half, like poor. Very, very poor game of football. Then they score, then we score, and then we have the momentum, we miss a bag of chances, then we get knocked out. Pathetic. And the crazy thing is, even when it went down to 10, a certain moment on the break, they were better than us. They had decent chances on the break with 10 men. And then don't even get me started on the Newcastle game at home. The 2-0 loss. Create chances, don't take them, and then poor defense, like route one goals we concede. And then the PSG game. Yes, PSG balled out the first 20 minutes, but we were so poor. We were off it. We were completely off it. And yes, some may say we attribute that to Partey not being there, disrupting the midfield rhythm, but we were poor. You mean to tell me no player availability, whatever, but you mean to tell me a Champions League semi at home, a chance for the final, and that's the thing that's disappointing for me. That's disappointing. It's just that mentality. The mentality, yes, injuries and whatnot, but the mentality that you're there, you're in a chance to be in a final for 2 cups, and you blow it. You're playing a dead rubber United and you blow it. I think those are huge disappointments. And then, of course, as I've alluded to, the bad transfer window as well. And the thing is, I was actually defending it. I was saying, look, on paper, like the squad is actually better than it was last season because we actually got rid of, because a lot of the players we got rid of were players that weren't playing. And Ketia, he's not going to dislodge Jesus or Havertz. Smith Rowe is not going to dislodge Erdegaard or Trossard even. Vieira is not going to get into the team. So we let these guys go, and you're thinking, okay, cool, the squad it's leaner, but it looks a lot better. You had Jorginho in Partey in the 6. You had Marino and Rice. You had Erdegaard. He didn't have cover, but we're thinking we want to see Ethan play. We got that's young talent that is definitely going to be good. And then obviously before we actually saw him play football, you're thinking Saka and Sterling, Martinelli and Trossard, Jesus and Havertz. Like, obviously we wanted more, but it's not looking too bad. You know, Kivior, Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, White, Timber. That's looking like a stacked team. Stacked team, right? Only for the season to unravel the way it did. And yeah, I was proved wrong. It was a really bad transfer window. And if you think about it now in hindsight, it was kind of arrogant for us to think we could go in that short in terms of quality attackers and expect to go further than we did last season, which we did in the Champions League, but I'm talking about in the league. Yeah, bad transfer window. And another massive disappointment is we didn't push Liverpool hard enough. And yes, obviously people are going to say injuries, true injuries, but at the same time, as much as we blame injuries, I'm looking at the draws. Like, I'm looking at the performance. I'm looking at the mistakes. I'm looking at the opportunities missed in these draws. And I'm asking myself, how much of that really is down to injuries? Okay, the Liverpool 2-2 at home, when we drew 2-2 with them, and Gabriel had to go off. Okay, cool, fairs, right? But Everton 0-0 at home. Is that really the fault of injuries? Or Everton, what was the score at their ground? Was it 1-1? Is that really down to injuries? A lot of these draws, are they really down to injuries? Really? Chelsea, when we played away from home, Chelsea when we played away from home, is that really down to injuries? We were poor. Like, a lot of these draws, like, actually assess the performances. How much of it can you say is really down to injuries? The team were playing good, bad. The team weren't playing well with the players available, and the team weren't playing that well without the players. A lot of this side-to-side stuff. So as you can see, if we stack all the stuff together, it has been a disappointment. Has it been a failure? To a large extent, yeah, it has been. Let's just be honest, it has been a failure. But at the same time, two things can be true at the same time. It has been a failure by the standards we've set for ourselves. But has the team made some progression? It has. It has, but by and large, it's been a failure because we still can't crack these cup competitions, FA Cup, Carling Cup, at home. We keep going out at home. We went out to Liverpool at home last season. We went out to buy. It's just our home first legs in the Champions League keep costing us 2 seasons in a row now. So yeah. So anywho, that's enough on Arsenal. I'll be talking more on transfers, I think. But one thing I will say is, I still think, just like I said at the end of last season, now it's time for the club to put the money where their mouth is. You're talking all this stuff. If we just get the players we know we're meant to get, this team are going to win the league. Just bring him in. Arteta sent a message to the board saying, we're going to go to Southampton, we're going to win. Now, like, the rest is up to the guys, the higher-ups. They know what they need to do. That's the messages he's sending out. So, okay, cool. Let's see. Let's see if the team are actually going to put the money where their mouth is and do what they're meant to do. Zubimendi's coming in. That's great. I'm going to talk more about what other players I think Arsenal need to bring in, what striker I think is more suited. I'm going to talk about that in coming videos, right? And in terms of the rest of the league, I think as a Christian, one thing I admire is Crystal Palace, the power of prayer. Because people are saying, lucky, lucky, lucky. They just prayed. Funny that when you pray, coincidences happen. When you pray, all of a sudden, when you pray, all of a sudden, things get lucky. You get lucky all of a sudden. It's the power of prayer. Like, it's not a coincidence that we're seeing posts after the match with Lacroix, Eze, all of these guys, Mateta, on the field, knees, praying. Praying. It's the power of prayer. But all due respect, though, huge result for Crystal Palace. I was so happy for them. Eze, that guy's an inspiration. He really is an inspiration. He's an inspiration. All that rejection, all those releases, and for him to do what he's done, respect. Like, that's Crystal Palace's first ever trophy. First ever trophy. Do you know how mad that is? Man, they've had a phenomenal season. Definitely a better season than Arsenal. Right? But we got to look at that Palace win. That's the power of prayer. And Erling Haaland, you should be ashamed of yourself. Haaland, you bottled that, man. I rate you. I believe it. I think you're the best goal scorer in the league, but you bottled that, man. You mean to tell me 450k man, main man, top scorer, top dog. It's a Champions League final. No, sorry, it's an FA Cup final. You have the opportunity to bring your team level, and you give the ball to Marmoush, who's only been there 6 months. Bro, where's the leadership? I think Haaland bottled that, man. I don't care what any City fan tells me. You should be taking that penalty. When's the last time Haaland scored at Wembley? When's the last time? Is Haaland going to be an Ibrahimovic? What do I mean by Ibrahimovic? Ibrahimovic, top player. But top player, flat track bully. When it really mattered in the crunch games, the finals, where is he? Where is he? Missing. And that was poor by Haaland. Very poor. I was disappointed in that. City can't complain about the Henderson red. You had the chance. You had the chance to draw your team level after getting a questionable penalty, and you just didn't take it. You had the chances, right? So they were poor. But prayer, you can't fight against prayer. And then going on to the red side of Manchester, I'm seeing that Matheus Cunha, the deal for Matheus Cunha is nearly done. I'll tell you the truth. I actually think Cunha, United are the perfect club for Cunha, and he's the perfect type of signing for them. Let me tell you why. I don't think Cunha would gel anywhere I think he's a good player. And I remember saying it in January when we kept being linked with him. I was like, why are we linked with him? I don't want him. Doesn't mean Cunha is a good player. You can see he's a very good player, actually. You can see the ball carrying ability, weight of pass, and he's chipping in with the goals now. He's the perfect, he's the perfect trequartista, centre forward, kind of like Del Piero-esque. Obviously, he's not Del Piero, but one of those creative players that can chip in with goals and assists. You know, those days are gone now, man. You either get a number 10 that's kind of silky and will get lots of assists but doesn't get loads of goals. But I'm talking about proper centre forward. Kind of like what Sergio Aguero used to be for Atletico Madrid when he'd play off of Diego Forlan, and he'd not just be the guy getting goals, he'd get assists. I remember that UEFA Cup final when Atletico beat Fulham. Aguero assisted Forlan for both the goals. He didn't score. So that's the kind of player Cunha is. That trequartista, that pure centre forward who's going to be like, yep, I'm going to give you goals and assists. I'm going to give you like 10 goals. I'm going to give you like 15 goals and 10 assists a season. He can definitely get that at United. And that's a good output for him. And why do I think he's perfect for United? Because let's be honest, he's ready for a step up. And even though it's kind of ironic that Wolves are higher than United currently, which is crazy to me. So it's but let's be honest, it is a step up. He's playing for Man United. as bad as they've been this season, surely they won't finish where they finished this season, next season. But why do I say Cunha's perfect? Because I'm looking at these other top clubs, right? I say top because of where United are. Is he gonna? Where does he fit? Can he play at Liverpool? Yeah, he can, but where? Where is he gonna play? How does he really fit? Like that axis of Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, McAllister, that midfield is not. I don't really see it. I don't really see it at Liverpool. Could he get into Liverpool's squad? Yeah, he can. But I don't. But he needs that central role. That role, he needs that. Now look at Arsenal. Can he play for Arsenal? Totally, he can. But where? Where would he play? Now Ødegaard. Okay, cool. The role he plays. Can we play Cunha there? Maybe we can. Maybe we can. And Cunha's work ethic ain't. I don't know. It's 50-50. His attitude, he gives me the kind of like Auber vibes. Could he play in the Ødegaard role? Ødegaard's been putting out dog poo nowadays. But I don't really see it. Especially for the type of money that he's gonna go for, 62 million. I'd rather spend that money on an actual number 9. It's not to say that he can't even play. He can probably play in that Ødegaard role and actually do bits. Right? He could do bits. Not saying he can't. But that being said, that the money that he's gonna go for, I would rather spend that on other areas in the team. Otherwise, he'd be a good signing for Arsenal, but nope, I wouldn't put him there. And then you think about Chelsea. Would he play for Chelsea? Could he play for Chelsea? Yeah, he could. He could, but similar to Arsenal. For that type of money, they need to spend on areas that they need a striker. For me, it makes no sense to spend 62.5 M's, that's what it's going to cost, on a guy who plays behind the striker when you're at Chelsea, when you got lots of players who can play behind the striker, but without actually getting an actual striker. Makes no sense. Can he play for Newcastle? Get Bruno Tonali, and what's his name, Joe Linton. Yeah, he could play for them. But again, are they really going to spend that with PSR and stuff? I don't really think so. Villa, could he play for them? Yeah, 100% he could. But they can't really afford them with all this PSR stuff, right? Who else? Spurs, would he play? Yeah, he could, 100%. 100%, he could, right? But they got many other issues in their team. Whereas now you get to United, he's perfect for them. He's perfect for Ruben Amorim's formation with those three at the front. Him and Fernandes, as much as I hate United, as much as I dislike them, him and Fernandes behind a good striker, oh my goodness. Even if they had a bad striker, him and Fernandes playing together behind a bad striker, even him, Fernandes and Xerxes might be a vibe. It might be a vibe. It honestly might be. Xerxes, because the type of player he is, he's not really a lone striker type of guy, but if he had someone playing a lot closer to him, and oh my goodness, that could actually pop. That's a really good, in my opinion, that's a really good signing for United. He's going to gel well there. And I wanted to speak on who's going to finish in the top 5. Right now, it's Newcastle, Villa, and Chelsea occupying the remaining 3. Obviously, Arsenal are going to finish second. But if you had to ask me who's going to finish top 5 based on the remaining games, I can't see beyond City, Newcastle, and Chelsea. As much as I really don't want Newcastle to finish in the top 5, much as I really that they're going to, I can't see them, even with Isak potentially not fit, I can't see them not beating Everton, who haven't been on a good run recently. I can't see them not beating Everton at home, final game of the season. I can't see that. I can see them winning there. City, who's their final game? They got Bournemouth at home. They may draw that. I can't see them losing that. They'll probably draw or win that. Who's their... Yeah, I can't remember City's last game of the season. Oh, their last game of the season is Fulham away. They'll beat Fulham away. Fulham at home. Not the. I know Fulham just beat Brentford away, but Fulham at home against City, I can't see anything but a City win there. And then Chelsea versus Forest. That is literally that's a Villa gonna beat United, but is it gonna be enough to dislodge these teams? I don't think so, because I see Chelsea going to Forest and I see Chelsea winning. I think Forest has shown us that they've over-exceeded this season. But that being said, I can't see them. I can see them choking. I can see Forest 100% choking in front of their fans at home. I mean, if the pressure for Leicester at home was bad, what's it gonna be like? What's it gonna be like when you're playing Chelsea in a pressure cooker? Yeah, I think Chelsea are gonna win that. And very lastly, pains me to actually do these predictions, but Europa League final. The Mud Brothers playing against each other, United versus Spurs. I want neither team to win it. I don't think neither team deserve it. That being said, they're in the final. So I need to make a call. Who's gonna win it? I want Spurs to lose. Spurs can win. Do you know how mad it will be? And saying I usually win things in my second season. And we've been on him. Like we've been on him talking about yeah, you said you win stuff. And he actually wins it. He's still gonna get sacked, and he still should, because this season's been abysmal and he's not the guy for Spurs. But if he signed up with a trophy, that'd be kind of mad. This is tough. Yeah, I just as much as I want Spurs to lose, no bias here, I can't see Spurs winning. I think United are gonna win. Purely because United, somehow, some way, they always jammy their way to trophy wins. Somehow, some way, this team do it. Somehow, this United did it last season against City in the final. Did it the season before with the Carabao Cup. I can see them doing it. I genuinely can. I can see players like Bruno stepping up in the final. With Spurs, I guess maybe it suits them because they got a young team. Players like Solanke have never played in in something like this. But I think they'll probably have a point to prove. Son is going to want to play. But yeah, I can't see past United. This is not even me being biased. I just can't see, as much as Spurs, I think those injuries those are huge blows. No Kulusevski, no Maddison. Those are huge blows. No Bergvall, are all good players that you could use to unlock United. I do think Spurs' physicality and pressing will cause problems for United because they can't play against any really strong counter-pressing team. That being said, in a final, United, they've been here before. They know what to do. Never say die attitude all throughout Europa this season. I'll be shocked if United don't win it. Yeah, I'm going to go United to win it. I really don't want either team, but you know what? I'd rather United win it than Spurs because they'll come up to the Champions League, then they'll get moved to, and then they'll be back down to Europa again. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. All the best. Take care.